Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Scots on the Run podcast, where we take a behind-the-scenes look at what's happening in the Gordon College cross-country and track and field programs. In this episode, we're recapping the Battle of the North Shore, and we have a couple of runners from the men's team, Zach Paige and Seth Morgan, to help us out. Coach, how's it going?
Good. Great start to the season. We're really excited about that start. So happy that the Lighthouse Trophy is finally where it deserves to be. Back at Gordon College.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the first time in the history of this meet that our men's team has come out on top and claim a Lighthouse Trophy.
That is correct, yeah. So I believe this started, Coach Spencer Lang over at Endicott said it started in 2017, and this was the first time that the men have had a chance to best their rival Gulls down the street. But yeah, it was an exciting day. We're really excited about this team, and so in some ways, us as coaches, we're not surprised by the fact that this team was able to get through it on Friday, but we're excited for things to come still.
So then I've got to correct something that I said in the last episode, because I thought that the meet started the year before my freshman year in 2016. Apparently, my freshman year was the first year that the meet took place in 2017.
Well, good.
So there we go.
You've been a part of it since the beginning.
I guess I
have.
How
about that?
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll talk to Seth first here, one of our captains this year. So Seth, in your estimation, how did the meet go for you? I understand it was a massive PR for you to open up the season.
Yeah. I've worked really hard over the summer to get to this point where I am now. Ben, you know me from your senior year and my freshman year, and you can see evidently by the timesheet there how far I've come, and this Friday was no different. I knew the goal I wanted to set. I wanted to run around 17:30. That was a PR goal for me, and I did exactly what I came out there to do. Admittedly, I took the race out probably a little too hot, and I'm never good at recovering after I start. So I just thought, hey, if I go out as fast as I can and just die, then maybe that'll be enough. But if I have even a controlled start, I'll still do the same thing. So I'd rather give it the best effort I can than a controlled effort that I know I can't pick up.
Well, if I could just say something about Seth here, I thought last year, dude, you made great strides in obviously improving. Last year, you at this very meet, you ran 18:33.
Yeah.
And so just even the fact that you were even going into this race saying, oh, I want to try to run 17:30, that's a testament to the hard work that you've put in over the last, really the last 12 months since you were at this meet last, right? But you've been through medical problems. You've had a wild, since you last ran this meet, you've had a wild couple months, and so it's clear that you've put in the work.
I think it caught a decent amount of people off guard just because of the surgery I had to have back in February and all the diet issues that I've had over the past year and stuff like that. But I knew over the summer, based on my training, that I would hit the goals I wanted to hit, which is why I was like, man, I just really want this to be. I want people to see the progress I've made.
Well, and that's what I wanted to say too. Is since I don't know, man. I feel like you were sitting in this office in April, and you were saying exactly what just happened is came to fruition, right? You were saying this is what's going to happen. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to get back to it, and I just know that this is going to be the season for me. And so that's one of the reasons why it's exciting to see you run that time and run that race the way you did, man. It was, your confidence has led to this, right?
Yeah. Might I add, there's still plenty of work that I want to do over the next year, however much time I have left to do this thing that I love so much, and where it's come from and where it is today. I just want to highlight that that's been really important to me, and what's kept me going is I've just put way too much work into this to not have something to show for it,
Totally.
And I think that's a testament to your work ethic that you PR'd by over a minute, I guess,
Right.
based on your
61
time last
seconds,
year.
yeah.
And you still see that there's room to go up from here. So I think that's great.
There's a lot of room, but I'm very happy with what I was able to do
Yeah.
given the circumstances.
100%. And our course isn't even, like, you wouldn't look at our course and say, like, oh, this is a course where you can totally run a personal best. Like, I mean, people do, but
I did.
but
No,
obviously you
okay.
did. But it's not. I mean, it's flat in spots. It's got good spots where you can go quick, but you got to be tactical in other areas. So, yeah, it's definitely impressive, man. It was a really good run for you.
I think there's a nice mixture of uphills and downhills that you can work to your advantage in different ways here.
Right.
So it may not be the fastest course
Right.
that we run, but it's certainly one where you can put in a good time.
Right.
And Zach, your finish might have made the difference here. You beat out Endicott's Andrew Lawson by 0.2 of a second, 17:07.9 to 17:08.1. Take us through what was going through your mind on that final stretch there.
I mean, it was just thought. I mean, I was with him probably for the last kilometer of the race. Like, we took it round Gold Pond together, just working together, and we were both said to each other when we were there, like, we're gonna catch the guys in front of us, regardless of what happens. And we passed a couple guys to begin with, and then got up that hill coming up towards Frost, and like, all right, I know I don't have it in me. I was feeling, stomach stitches up in between. It's like wasn't a great day for cramps, right in the diaphragm. And it's like, all right, I have to play it super safe, going into the end of it. So, I tried speeding up a little bit, get a little bit of lead, so he had to make a push to pass me in the end. And then, Coach Miles screaming at me, got like, go, Zach, you better go. We're going to win this thing. It's like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it's like 70, 60 meters left. And see the end. The Endicott guy pulls ahead of me ever so slightly, maybe 5 meters, and I'm like, all right, it's go time. Just like, and empty the tank. It's like, he's already pushed himself. I have just the slightest bit more energy, push it. And there's Roger Williams, who came right behind us as well. He definitely gave me an extra push as well.
Oh yeah.
As well. It's like, all right, I'm not gonna let two people pass me at the end. I'm like, that's
Right.
one, sure, okay. I mean, I hate myself for it afterwards because that's a disappointing loss. But two, no, that's just a disgrace.
Right.
So I'm just gonna push forward and absolutely gas the tank to beat out by 0.2 seconds. I mean.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was going to be that close
Right.
for points on the meet either.
And he was only a half second back of the Endicott runners. So
Yeah.
you had 3 runners from 3 different schools, all under a less than a second blanket there at the end after 5K.
Exactly, it was super tight, and I was hoping that I would have the energy to do something like that at the end as well. It's like game plan was to go out, not too quick, and just slowly work my way up through the pack.
Well,
And
I wanted to ask you. So, and Seth, you can chime in here too. But so when you guys are in that last kilometer of a 5K, right, and you're feeling, you call them stomach stitches. I'm curious. What are you saying to yourself to make sure that you're pushing through? Because again, like you said, so like you had your finish it did make the difference. It made the difference between us tying and us actually winning the Battle of North Shore for the first time, right? So, what do you guys say to yourselves when you're in that last K and you just have to push?
I don't know about you, but I just say screw it. It's like, you know what? I have like, in my mind, I mean, it's different from a workout because in a workout you have to pace yourself because there's always going to be another rep unless it's the last one. But in my mind, it's like, all right, the sooner I can get done with this, the sooner I feel more relaxed, and there's no point in not giving as much energy because this is a race in comparison to just a normal run. I mean, heck, if I'm running 540s or less during a race, I can look forward to the 820s afterwards when I'm cooling down and feeling good. But I mean, really at that point, it's just convincing. Like for me, it's convincing myself that I can do a little bit more, and I don't have to worry about the pain. And usually, I mean, like mentally, if I convince myself that it's fine, I just lose, the stitch physically until the end. So it's like, if I can get over that mental barrier, then usually
the rest
fine.
is easy. Right?
Yeah.
How about you, Seth?
For me, it's definitely knowing that I'm gonna have to live with the decision after the race. So if I'm in the moment, and this is something that I still need to work on in my races, just like my mentality going into them and during them, but especially in that last stretch, I kind of, well, in the middle after like zoning out for a little bit, and I realized, oh man, we're really towards the end of this race now. What has gotten me through it is just knowing this moment right here. I will remember that if I do fail and I don't hit the mark that I want, I'll remember this moment right here when I actively chose not to step up. And that's usually what drives me for my personal success, is just knowing that failure is right there should I not do anything.
Well, like these moments, and I love what you said there. I think there's a moment in every race where you have the opportunity to choose if this is going to be a moment that you remember because it was an awesome race, or it's a moment that you remember because it's a regrettable race, right? And that's where, as a racer, you like you said, 1,000 meters to go, regardless of how the race has gone to that point, you just have to go and empty the tank, right? But the other thing I was going to say is the great thing about our course is with the exception of the women's 6K, every finish is like that. You have one last 400, 500 meters on the quad, and as a coach, and so I just if I could real quick, I'm uber competitive, and especially I'm even more competitive with people that so obviously our rivals Endicott down the street, right?
Oh, we don't want to lose to them.
Right, exactly. Well, because we see them on runs, and I see their coach all the time. Him and I, we hang, and but I'm counting jerseys as they're coming up the hill and as they're coming through, and I'm doing quick math, and that's why I just completely turned it on when I saw Zach and I saw the Endicott runner, and I was just like, hey, it was too much math in the moment. Like I would have failed my third grade math test in the moment if it was timed, but I knew it was so close that it could be a huge swing. So I don't know. I was yelling, burn the ships and just come on, Zach.
Yeah, exactly.
Get rid of it. Be done with it, and man.
Yeah, and that mentality, like for me, I don't know, I definitely prefer cross country running over track and field running.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for these meets, at least in my opinion, like for me and like my experiences so far, like when you run cross country, it feels like you're more so running for the team because you're all together in the same race. And like what Seth had commented on with emptying the tank at the end, it's like you're not just running for yourself and like your personal best, but you're running for your team. And each kilometer, mile, whatever you want to divide it by, has to be calculated not to just run your personal best, but for running the team. So like, at the end, I had to do that for not myself, but for us.
Sure.
And in the middle of the race, I think not even the end that sticks out more to me with how I ran it, but in the middle coming back up, Seth and I, we had a good stretch together where we ran next to each other. We had this hairpin turn coming down after about 1.5 miles into the race. And this really narrow part of the trail, and it's all right, I caught up to Seth. I'm not going to leave aside because strategically for us, the more distance that we can put from the front guys and keeping some of the Endicott guys back, or the Roger Williams guys in general, get us better placements, the better off we're going to be. So I stuck by him just so we could block the trail, acting on strategy more so.
Sure.
But it's sure. If you do that, you might sacrifice a couple of seconds of your own time, or you might go too fast for some portions, but it could be the difference in how you run a race for your team.
Right.
Yeah, well, Coach, I don't know if there was anything else that stood out to you from the men's race, or if you want to move on and pick out a couple of highlights from the women's 5K as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to make sure that obviously we got to the women before we got off the pod here. We obviously, I mean, I think it's going to be hard not to give credit to Rachel Brennan and Carolyn Day, like every single race this season. Rachel's ran, I think, the last 2 years in a row. I think she's ran 18:51 on this course in this 5K. So, so she had a 28-second improvement. She ran 18:23, and then Carolyn Day, starting last year. So Carolyn is Rachel's a senior and Carolyn's a junior, and last year Rachel made nationals, and so something I said to Carolyn really early on last year was just like, hey, if you look at where Rachel was when she was your age, you know, you're not too far off of her. And so I know that she has high hopes for what she can achieve this season. And so Carolyn going out and running 19:11, which is only 20 seconds off of what Rachel ran at this meet last year. Again, we have high hopes that Carolyn can run really well by the end of this season. And I try not to put extra pressure on her in any way. I think she just does enough by just coming to work every day and getting the work in. So, and the last thing I want to say is Kaylee's a freshman of ours, and she came in as our number 3, which was a bit of a surprise.
She killed it.
Yeah, she did very good.
When she came up that hill, I was like, what the heck? She just zoom.
Well, I think what I saw from her is just, you know, she's just a racer. You know, someday, you know, they call it a gamer. Obviously, we call it a racer or whatever. But sometimes on race day, you just, you know, I think you see another side of people, and I felt like we saw that from her. And it's always exciting to see, you know, when freshmen have these, because you never really know. Like, you know their times, but you never really know until they step on the line of a college race what they're going to produce. So. So yeah, it was really really impressive to see her go out and hang with everybody. So, also the women only lost by 3 points to Endicott, so it was a close one for them as well. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both for taking time out of your day to come on the pod here and share how your individual races went, and then in the context of a team as well. And Coach, thank you as always, and we'll keep cranking these out at least once a week, I think. And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
thank you all for listening.
Yeah. Cool, man. Thanks,
Hi,
Ben.
Mom. Hi, Dad.
Bye, guys.